You ready, Spike? Good boy. See this hat? This and so much more could be yours at charliesimons.com. Like this mug, this awesome mug. I love this so much. It's a big old 15-ounce mug, too. And I like big mugs. I cannot lie. Them other brothers can't deny. Let's talk about politics and religion. Do not talk. I am Charlie Simons, the one mentioned in that logo. You can get that mug, you can get shirts, you can get hats, you can get all kinds of things just in time for Christmas too, by the way. Can you imagine? You better have some right-thinking people that you're giving gifts to if you're going to give them this mug, if you don't want it thrown back at you. CharlieSimons.com, CharlieSimons.com. You can click on that merch store. You can reserve a spot on the show. You could actually be a guest on the show. That's how my guest today actually booked through my website at CharlieSimons.com. Her name is Hope Rose. Hope Rose. We're talking about family courts. You got any involvement in that? You got any kind of experience in your life that you had to go through that? Do you come from a divorced family? I do. My parents divorced before divorce was cool. And there was a time that it was taboo. And I've got custody battle stories that if you really knew full well the whole scope of what happened when I turned 9 and my dad left, and then the divorce when I was 10, you'd think, Charlie, you're doing a whole lot better than I really think anybody should be doing after you went through what you went through when you were a kid. But there's one more thing I wanted to ask you to do. One is like this show. Hit that like button, and you'll help shape where this show goes on all the different platforms you're watching, because they follow that kind of stuff. It's an algorithm thing. Also, if you comment, just wish me Merry Christmas. I would appreciate that very much. I want to get people saying Merry Christmas again, not Happy Holidays. Conservative groups throwing your holiday parties. What is wrong with you? President Trump in his first term said it's okay to say, I can't even do Trump. It's okay to say Merry Christmas now. I wish I could do a Trump impression. I've been watching Steven Crowder. He does a brilliant spot on Trump impression. But anyway, he told us it was okay to say Merry Christmas, and we did. But here he is again, back as president, and I see my own conservatives calling their parties holiday parties. What holiday is that? Halloween? You consider that a holy day, which is what that word's derived from. Holiday, holy day. Is Halloween a holy day to you? Thanksgiving. It's honoring God, the Creator, and thanking Him for all that we've been blessed with by Him. But it's not a holy day in the church. New Year's? No, that's only a holy day for Seagrams. And what's another one? Oh, Kwanzaa? Shut up. Sit down. Hanukkah? That's not a high holy day in the Jewish religion. Sorry to disappoint. Not a holy day. In the Jewish religion, Hanukkah is not a holy day. Christmas is it. So don't wish me a happy holiday. Wish me a Merry Christmas. If you can comment that down below, comments, likes, that helps shape the algorithms, and you'll be helping promote this show after Facebook deleted every single one of my pages and my Instagram account, which is owned by Facebook, back in July. I don't have any way to let people know, like I did before, that I had new shows out. So if you can share these shows too, you'll be helping. So you're doing me a tremendous favor just by liking, commenting down below, and sharing these shows. And go to my website, CharlieSimons.com. Get yourself a mug. Financially, you'll be helping that way too, because I get a portion of the profits that the company makes that I work with. All very high quality products. And I'm big on, I don't want things made in communist countries, please. So get all that at CharlieSimons.com. All right, commercial over. Oh, and click on that QR code with your camera, and that'll take you to nuevalife.com/CharlieSimons. Naturally derived health products made in the United States of America, all in one place. I'm talking collagen. I'm talking energy drinks. I'm talking not the jittery, caffeinated, ridiculous monster kind of drinks. I'm talking mixes and supplements, and you'll like it. Just click on that QR code. Okay, commercial's over. Hope Rose is her name. I don't know if it's a real name, but I think I know where it comes from and what it means, what the whole idea behind it is. Hope rose. On the third day, he rose. The hope of the world, the hope, the shining of the light of the nation, the one that we're supposed to be celebrating his birth on Christmas, not Santa Claus. And it's a great name. I love it. We're talking about family courts. And after going through what I went through with family court, where that judge has such tremendous power, regardless of what everyone else says or even the evidence that's presented, unless it's a jury trial, and divorce trials are not jury trials. Divorce court is not. Family courts, not jury trials. You have these judges, which are just attorneys who got a promotion. I have so little respect for attorneys and even less for judges. Oh, that's a reverend. Last time I went to traffic court, all rise for justice, whatever. No, that was he's not even a judge over traffic court. They're not even called that, but yet we're all supposed to stand up because he or she they're going to sit there and dole out guilty or innocence pleas and tell you what the fine is, including jail time if they want. Here's how I feel about all of that.
Suggestions they would like to submit to you.
I think you know what the trustees can do with their suggestions. I don't know what they have to say. It makes no difference anyway. Whatever it is, I'm against it. No matter what it is or who commenced it, I'm against it.
Hope Rose on Do Not Talk. Ready? Hit it. What's up, my sister from another mister?
Hello. It's so great to be here. Thank you so much.
Oh, I'm glad you're here. And I love your name, Hope Rose. I don't know if that's on your birth certificate or not, but either way, it's an extraordinary name, Hope Rose. I take it you're a fellow Christian. You're a follower of Christ Jesus.
You know, the name was given to me. I call God like source. I have a very close relationship with source, and Hope Rose literally came to me in the middle of the night and was like, change your name. And a couple weeks later, something went down and it protected me in ways I would have never even realized when source gave me that name. And so, yeah, I say I channel as Hope Rose, and really, you know, it's kind of like I get these downloads and I receive them and give them to other people. Well,
I'm sorry for making that assumption. I mean, to me, the source has a name, and that's Christ Jesus, or the creator of the universe, Yahweh, YHWH, the great I am, Jehovah. But either way, it's a cool name. I like it. You get to keep it. I approve. Tell us about your experience, please. I shared a little bit of mine going through family courts, and I could get more in depth with that too. Let's talk about family courts.
Yeah, we could spend years on the subject of family courts. I'll backtrack just a minute of like Hope Rose is also a metaphor for rising from the ashes. So yes, there's, you know, like the spiritual component of it, of, you know, Jesus and Yahweh and all that. And really like the Earth Day present form of like when you are going through really difficult circumstances, you can rise from the ashes. And I'm living embodiment of that. And it comes from the whole family court system. So my family court story really began in 2016. And I met this guy, and it was, you know, very instant love bombing, I guess you could say. He, said all the right things of, I've never met somebody as amazing as you. I've, waited all my life to, run into you, marry me, come move
Where
here.
have you been all my
Where have
life?
you been? Like rescuing him from whatever. And, obviously this is 9 years later as we're recording this, and he really liked my light. He really loved what I was doing. And, I like, when you're in that situation, you don't realize it's like a pan of water being slowly boiled. You don't know what's coming. And so I uprooted my life for him and moved out, left everything, left my friends, left my career. I was an athlete in that previous state and was, racing. And, I was kind of at the peak of my athletic career. And I realized later that there was a lot of jealousy going on. So immediately isolation happened. I moved to a place I had never been to. And the abuse pretty much started immediately. I'll fast forward the story since we only have an hour.
So you married a narcissist.
Well, I don't believe in asking the government permission to get married. So we did not have a legal paper marriage license.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, we did held ourselves out to be husband and wife, but there was no legal paper saying that as which. So yeah,
Okay.
yes, I was with.
Again, I made the assumption. I'm sorry. My apologies.
That's all right. Yeah, I was with a person who was extremely abusive in every single facet. I am still recovering to this day. Probably always will. It will be a lifetime of recovery at this point. And, from like financial, physical, emotional, psychological, like these people are, they have stayed up late reading the 101 books and all the way to 401 of how to con a woman.
Narcissist.
So, yeah, and really sociopathic behavior. I mean, really dangerous behavior. He attempted to take me and ultimately my baby's life twice. That was very disturbing. His previous ex-wife and her family were also very concerned that he was going to take her into the woods and kill her. I come to find out later that when he was, wooing me, he was actually still married. Did not find that out until 2 years later when everything went down. Ultimately, there's so much to my story. It will definitely be a movie and a book someday. I'll try to give the highlights here, and we can get more into like really what's happening in family court, on more, domestic and global level. I got pregnant first and had a miscarriage, which I still have questions about to this day, probably always will, of how that miscarriage actually happened. And then I got pregnant.
Hey, pardon me for interrupting, but tell me if I'm wrong. But you can literally induce a premature birth through natural means. I mean, it's my understanding just drinking castor oil can do that. Am I wrong on that?
I'm not. I don't. Yes.
So do you think he might have slipped you something or gave you something? Is that what you're thinking?
No, we climbed a 14,000-foot mountain, actually Mount Shasta. And I started bleeding on the mountain. And he said, "What are you? Are we going to summit or not?" And just started calling me names, literally.
Are we going to summit or not?
And I'm like, I'm bleeding, like literally it's, like a 30-degree cliff in the middle of the night, with, crampons and ice axes. And I was pretty terrified, and he would not have it. We are summiting, we are going. And I was like, okay. And so of course we were the first ones to summit that particular morning. And so that's why I have questions over what happened. Yeah.
What if you would have said, no, this is serious. I'm in trouble here. We got to get down off this mountain. I'm going down with or without you. How do you think that would have turned out?
I probably would have been killed.
This is creepy, but my understanding, not unfortunately. Um, I wish it weren't common, but the more and more and I have a lot of female friends and things they tell me and confide in me. I'm like, ay, ay, ay. Why do you even still like men? I thank God that He created you to actually still be attracted to men, because frankly, I'm not a big fan of them. I don't think men are all that great. But
Yeah.
so what happened
Well,
then?
yeah, I mean,
Miscarried.
so, well, yeah, so I'll finish this. I'll get back to the story in a second, but 3.4 women a day are killed by former or current intimate male partners. I
That many
mean,
across the nation.
yes. I
Okay.
mean, yeah, 3.5
Per
like
day.
per day. I mean,
Wow.
we like the war on women and mothers, and it is, and girls even, the you're more likely to be killed by a family member if you are female. There's some more, like there's some stats that just came out recently. The United States is ranked after Africa in how many women are killed at the hands of family members and intimate male partners. I mean, it's egregious what is happening. I mean, women are being murdered every single day. And
I'm sorry, I did not know those statistics.
yeah,
Okay, if anyone says what's your source, where can they look that kind of stuff up? I guess just do a search
uh,
engine of how many
yeah. I
women are
mean,
killed in
women,
America.
women, domestic violence survivors. Yeah, just women of
Or
domestic
victims.
abuse victims. Femicide is another term for it. IP, intimate violence, intimate partner violence, IPV is another term for it. But yeah, those stats are out there. I don't have the direct
Got
website
it.
or
Got it.
link right
Okay.
on.
I'm just asking for
Yeah.
anybody who might be curious.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, go research it. We have, I mean, even globally, women and children, especially even just being a female, like you are a target for really awful things.
Well, you know what?
I would love to. Yes, there's many reasons, and we can get into this. And it kind of,
Well,
goes along.
bullies prey on the weak, or anyone they perceive to be weaker than them. That's who bullies prey on.
Billy. Well,
A
I mean,
boy might fight back, a male might fight back, but they just bullies prey on anyone. I'm not saying you are weaker. I'm saying that's who they prey on. Anyone that they perceive to be weaker than them. I think that might have a lot to do with it. Just me. So I'm not going to interrupt anymore. I'm interrupted too much. I want to hear your story. Please continue.
All right. Yeah, I mean, bullies they prey on those who they are jealous of, who they are because they're insecure,
A
and
lot
they
of
know
insecurity. Yeah.
insecurity, and it's not because the women are actually, like, men couldn't give childbirth. I mean, they can't handle the flu, let alone pushing a human out of their
Well,
body.
I wouldn't make that blanket statement. I'm not one of those guys. I absolutely could,
Uh,
and I would if I
you know,
was created to do that. I was created that way, but no, and
right.
I
So
don't wallow in misery just because I get sick. I'm not one of those people, and there's a lot of men like me. They're not
awesome.
all like what you see on TV and in the movies. But so I wouldn't make that blanket statement. But I get what you're saying. It's kind of a common argument. So
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of what's happening in family court is, really strong mothers, protective mothers is what they call them, and they don't like protective mothers. They don't like mothers, especially, personally speaking. I was definitely a target because I'm very outspoken. I know my rights, and they did not like that. And that's another metaphor, like Hope Rose. Hope Rose is speaking. I know you really wanted to silence me, and you did not. So back to the story. So I had a miscarriage, and then became pregnant immediately, which also a whole nother story in that. And had a very unfortunate, rough pregnancy. I was sick the entire time. Gave birth to my
So
son.
instead of consoling you through this tragic loss, which puts scars on your soul, on your heart, and in your mind, and your body, possibly, instead of consoling you through that, it's like, I know, I'll get you knocked up again right away because I want some. Is that pretty much it?
It was pretty much non-consensual. Yes.
Good heavens. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that's the kind of person I was living with, and had no control over the finances. I was so sick, like I couldn't even work. I've always been an entrepreneur, and that's just my line of work. That's what I know how to do. And gave birth to my son in the spring of 2018. And not even a month later, I was still in postpartum haze. Your hormones, like you go through
Which
so
is
much.
it's a very real thing.
I mean, everything is just, I can't even like describe a postpartum experience. And I was like, holding it together. And he applied for life insurance on me and my 4-week-old. And he was the sole income provider. I didn't make anything. And he only attempted to take out disability on him he wanted a life insurance. And I still don't know. I don't know if it's out there or not. That's why I say applied and attempted. He's forged signatures on legal documents. So I'm not sure what's happening to this day. Anyway,
was it for a large amount?
Yes. 600,000 on me and 250,000 on my baby. Wow. And I have consulted on this, and they said that it's very alarming to take out a life insurance policy on a newborn like that quickly.
Right. I didn't even know you could, but okay.
Yeah. So again, I say all these things just kind of set up this person's behavior. Because that's, you go on behavior. I can't diagnose him, but I can show you his actions. And the abuse, like he disappeared. He was continually to lie about where he was. We were apparently having financial issues. He had control over the money. He would drain our joint checking account, which is the only bank account we had. So I couldn't even buy food. We lived in a remote area, so there was no public transportation. He stopped paying my car payment, so I had no car with a newborn, and then was physically pushing me out of our house. The house was in his name, and he was like, "This is not your house. You need to leave. Go right now." Literally trying to push me out so he could call the cops, is what I make up. So he could call the cops and say, "Oh, she left with the baby. I'm going to, do whatever." And I knew enough to, I really had to physically stand firm. I'm like, "No, I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving this house. I have a newborn in my arms." That was pretty scary. And that went on for a couple of months. And then finding text where he is projecting about stabbing me with a knife in the middle of the night.
What? I'm sorry. Wait, what? He did what?
He is texting. He's texting his dad, projecting, meaning he's thinking these things of what he's going to do, but he's projecting it. It's like a psychological term.
Got it.
He's literally saying, I'm going to stab her in the middle of the night with a knife. And when I saw that, I knew my life was in danger and my baby. And then a gas leak went off. And again, I knew that we were in danger. He was trying to get rid of us. He hated being trapped with a baby. He was also a mountaineer athlete, and he thought his life was over. And he did not want to be responsible for a child and wanted to do very selfish in everything. Was calling me all kinds of names and inviting fights. Another time I removed me and my baby from the situation and put herself in the master bedroom so I could breastfeed. And he is banging down the door. And I had it locked. And I said, when I'm done, I will open the door and come out. I needed him to cool off. And he got tools and began to take the door mechanism off of the door handle.
Yeah.
I mean, just crazy behavior. I still can't believe I've lived through that. And then he pulled the door behind him shut, and he left like the locking mechanism in how this door was, built. And he imprisoned me and my baby in the master bedroom on the second floor. Literally, the only way out was to jump 25 feet. Could not do that. He left in the only vehicle. I texted him. I said, we are locked. If you don't come now, I made a mistake here. I forgive myself. I just was, I am, again, the kind woman of like giving him every single chance. And I said, if you don't come back, I'm going to call the police. Well, of course he came back and whatever. I should have called the police. That would have been really helpful in my case. Anyway.
Because then it would have been on record.
It would have been, I have it on text. Still, it's not good enough. And even if the police did come, police don't listen to women. They don't listen to mothers. Like, oh, you just want to keep the father away from the child. It's like, no, he's literally going to kill us. Look at his actions. Another time, he's rarely.
Well, in their defense, though, and having family in law enforcement, that is a very real scenario that's very common. Spouses use or partners use their children as weapons to hurt the other one. I know, because that was part of what I went through with the custody battle when I was a kid. So it's a very common thing. I mean, just in their defense, I don't want to say that all law enforcement officers don't care what women say and think that they're all crazy, but in an emotional, tumultuous situation like that, when it comes to domestic violence and domestic problems, their job is to literally just make it end for the peace of everybody in your neighborhood. They gotta stop it, and they don't have time to listen. They're just going to make sure you're not going to commit violence against each other. So I'm just trying to help, defend law enforcement a little bit. I don't believe that they all don't listen to women and don't care about them.
Yeah, I mean, there's good people in every line of work. I think the vast majority could do a lot better in really protecting women and children, even from like a biblical standpoint. Women and children, especially if the officer is like a male. Like males are supposed to protect women, not supposed to abuse them. They're not supposed to commit violence. Like, okay, this relationship isn't working. How can we move on with our separate lives? I want to support you as his mother. There are healthy ways to go about it versus trying to kill someone, trying to do all these manipulative things.
Of course.
There's grown-up ways. There's grown-up,
especially when there's a child involved or children.
Children, babies, infants. Another time he ripped like art pieces off the wall and like hurled it, across the room as he's holding my son, who was just, months old. So it was a very scary time. Another time, this was a couple weeks before the final act happened. He said, if you don't agree to sell this house, I'm going to leave you. And so I was like, okay, let's sell the house. Where do you want to move? And I began researching where he wanted to move. And that still didn't appease him. And 2 weeks later, I got a text from him. Oh, and during this time, I actually was like, let's go to counseling. Let's, figure this out. Like, I literally did everything I could to save to really help our relationship. Like, what is happening here? And I didn't know enough about narcissistic, sociopathic behavior to realize that I was in a very dangerous situation until I saw some of those, messages of he was very unstable. I was catching him in lies left and right. He left me for 3 weeks without, access to funds to buy food. I mean, it was horrendous. My entire motherhood.
Did you know he was leaving?
Did I know he was leaving?
Yeah.
No.
When he left for 3 weeks? Or did he just disappear?
So those 3 weeks, he would come home and I would have no access to funds. He would say, oh, we're low on money. Then I would find receipts in the trash can where he went to movies. He was taking takeout, but yet there was no food in the house for me and my baby.
Right. Wow.
So then like the following week after those couple of weeks, I got a text from him and he said, good luck. I got on a plane. I'm in a different city. I'm not telling you where I'm at or when I'm coming home. And at that point I said, you know what? I've had enough. And I called my counselor at the time and she was like, you did not deserve this. And he even said he wasn't going to leave. He was like, of course he knew he was. He had it all set up. And it was over a holiday. It was over Thanksgiving. And I got into gear. And I realized, I was like, well, can I file for abandonment? And then that's where I really started getting into the law. No, abandonment's a year. And I'm like, oh, it's been 2 days. Can't do that. And so I contacted 2 DV centers right away. And they're very...
DD? What's DD centers?
Domestic violence.
Okay. Oh, DV. Gotcha.
DV, yeah. And they were very concerned about the safety and the welfare of, me and my baby. He was only barely 7 months old.
Yeah, because he knew where you were. You didn't know where he was, but he knew where you were.
Right. And given all the history of the past several months, I literally felt like he was gonna. And there was another incident too, a few months previous. He went on a trip and he said he was going to be back on a Monday. It was a Sunday afternoon. Me and my baby were taking a nap. It's a very sleepy, country town. I mean, you can hear a pin drop. And Sunday afternoon, I heard this creak, and I literally sat straight up in bed, and I was like, "What is that?" And I see this head peek around our master bedroom door. It was open, and it's him. I was like, "What are you doing?" He was like, "Oh, I came back."
I'm just saying, out in the country, we don't call 911. Intruder.
Yeah, he could be
he's lucky he didn't get his head blown off. In other words, if he would have been a gun owner, may have happened. That's scary. Okay, so and then what unfolded?
So yeah, that incident was really, nerve-wracking and shaking. And so got to safety.
Got to safety. Wait a minute. What happened?
So back to
when he peeks around the corner. It's him.
Oh, yeah. So he peeks around the corner. So this was a few months before he sent me the other text. So this was in August of 2018, and he said, "Oh, we came back early." I was like, "Well, why didn't you text me?" He was like, "Oh, my phone died." I'm like, "You had a 4-hour drive." "Oh, I didn't have a charger."
There wasn't a Dollar General somewhere you could have stopped in and gotten one?
He had and he even drove with a friend. They both had car charger. It was just it was crazy. Yeah. I mean, I found him, I found him cheating on me, all those things. So anyway, that was a few months previous. So back to November 2018.
I think we all pretty much knew that there was some cheating going on, especially with the flying to another state. And I've left, and good luck.
Yeah, he was so paranoid that somehow I was cheating, peeking around the corner, leaving me unannounced. There's nothing here. You're making up, and psychologically, he's very scary.
So he peeks around the corner. You realize it's him. What happened? You said you got away. Well, how did that happen?
Oh no, I was meaning back. No, I stayed in bed, and I was like, well, what are you doing? So I mean, yeah, that incident, passed. So how I got, getting away was back, was fast forward in November when he sent me that text and said, "I'm not telling you when I'm coming back. I'm not telling you where I'm going." I got on a plane and left. And so then that's when I made the safety plan with, a bunch of people. And so, it was a very scary time. I literally,
so the peeking around the corner thing wasn't after he had left and then came back. This was before. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm a little confused. So,
peeking around the corner happened in August. And when he sent me the text that he got on the plane, that was November.
Okay.
And so got me and my baby to safety. And then he told us that, "Oh, I'm coming back and we can have, family counseling, and I was like, "Okay, we'll set up a session." So we did that. And as I drive by our house, even though I wasn't staying there, I noticed that there was a locksmith in the house. I literally left the house with a diaper on me. There was nothing. All of our stuff was in there. My son's toys, his clothes, all my stuff. We left under we had to get to safety first because we did not know what this individual was going to do. And there's a locksmith. And again, we live in the country. We have never locked our home. We don't even have keys for the house. Like, nobody locks their house. And there's a locksmith in our driveway, and I spun around and I park in the driveway and I go into the, through the garage, and I find the locksmith, and I'm like, what are you doing here? Like, this is my house. He was like, oh, I'm changing the locks. I'm like, changing the locks? Like, did you notify me? Oh no, he said to change it. And I'm like, do you know that like there's some violence happening? And he was like, this is how you get killed, I think is what he said. And so at that point I canceled counseling. I'm like, we're not going to sit in counseling while behind my back you're changing the locks on your child's house. And the mother,
yeah, that's weird.
Like that's truly super weird. Creepy. You're going to be like, oh yeah, we're going to work everything out. And then knowing this secret, I'm like, this is devious behavior. And so I called the counselor and I said, no, we're done.
How old was your son at that time?
7 months.
Okay.
In the middle of winter, it was 4 degrees, a foot of snow. No good father leaves a child and a mother just out in the middle of nowhere.
That's crazy. Whose name is on the deed or on the?
His name.
Who's is it in both your names?
It was in his name.
His name only. Okay,
yep.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So he takes precedent, and when according to the law, he can do whatever he wants, even if it adversely affects those who live there, unless you're a renter. And then there's all kinds of laws protecting you there. Interesting.
Yeah, you have more protections over a renter than the mother of your child.
Yes. So what happened then?
Yeah.
You're now being locked out of your own place, and what happened?
My world was rapidly deteriorating. I really knew how bad it was going to get. Like, yeah, it's a good thing. It's a good thing we don't know the future all the time, because it got worse. So I called the police. They came. There's a whole scene. I called some friends. They rallied their friends, and like we literally like moved as much as we could within a couple of hours. And there was a police report made. They told the other person to stay away, and that was the last time I was ever in that house. And so we kind of got
everything that you had, all your clothing, all your child's clothing, everything you had was in that home.
Yes, every single thing.
And were you working at the time? Did you have any kind of income coming in?
I did. At that point, I had taken a very part-time nanny job, just in the afternoon, so my son can come with me.
Not enough for you to be able to go out and get your own place. Did you have any family around there? He took you away from where all your family and friends were.
Right. And he also took my vehicle away. And so this happened over the weekend, and he had quote unquote loaned me his car. The following week, his attorney, I found an attorney through the local domestic violence center. And anyway, long story short, his attorney emailed my attorney and said, if she doesn't surrender his vehicle, we're going to press auto theft charges. He literally left me in the middle of nowhere, 4 degrees, a foot of snow, a 7-month-old. I still don't know how this person is not in jail. Like, like crimes on humanity.
You're telling me that the police pulled you over? Had he reported it as a stolen vehicle? That was the threat. If I did not return the vehicle, they were going to press auto theft charges. And that was the law enforcement telling you that?
His attorney.
His attorney. Okay, so it wasn't the law. The attorney didn't really have any say in that. And if you're in a rural area, it was most likely sheriff's department. It would have been county.
Right. Sure. Yeah.
Interesting. So the lawyer is so you still had a phone, obviously.
I had my phone. My phone number, unfortunately, was connected to his business, which is a whole nother debacle.
Oh,
and I mean, I had nothing. I mean, not even financially. I literally had nothing. I had my son, and my only mama bear instinct was to keep him safe somehow. And so, he filed for custody and child support, and for me to pay him ridiculous amounts of money. I mean, all kinds of crazy things.
I'm sorry, what?
I know.
I'm sorry, what?
it's bizarre what he filed.
He's asking for child support, even though you have custody of the baby.
Right. And then he wanted me to reimburse him for health insurance. And he's saying he said in his file documents under, penalty of perjury that he had health insurance, and he didn't. He actually lied about that and wanted me to pay him like $800 in reimbursement to offset his child support. I mean, the whole thing is just, it was so crazy.
To avoid a lawsuit down on both of us, I don't want you to say the name of his company or business or whatever he works for, but at the time, at least, what was he doing? What kind of business?
Yeah, he was in property management, real estate.
Oh. Another people group I don't often have a lot of respect for. Okay, interesting.
So I'm very grateful.
Well, he knows all these rules, and he knows how you can get away with stuff and make life a living hell for you. But he's doing it to his child at the same time, isn't he now?
What he's done to his child, I really do hope there is justice for what he has done when we get into the nitty-gritty of what he has done. Anyway, I'm very grateful that I have lived a life of service. I've always been in service, to God, to source, and to, other humans. And so many earthly angels came in to support me and my baby. And they gave me a vehicle, which I'm still driving to this day. It's 20 years old. It has 246,000 miles on it. So nobody can, it's not a new vehicle, However, it's a great vehicle. I have been so blessed in the midst of horror to, be provided safety and, shelter. I was, really we were left with me, when I say we, me and my baby were left with nothing. And earthly angels came in and really supported us. I am extremely grateful to this day for their support. So, we had court, January of 2019, he was ordered to pay a significant amount of child support. Oh, guess what? Yeah. He thought that somehow he was going to get out of that. I'm still not, he's the one who took me to court. I would have never taken him to court. You caused this problem. And now, yes, you're now going to have to pay a lot of child support.
You don't have the money for an attorney, so you had to take a public defender? So they don't know.
No, they don't do public defenders. It's not criminal. It's civil. So there's
right, but because I don't know the term, but they have court-appointed referees. Is that it?
No.
If you don't have the money for an attorney to represent yourself.
Yeah, I did have an attorney through the DV Center, through the Domestic Violence Center.
Oh, so good. Okay, good.
Yeah, so I had that. So that was good. So he was ordered to pay child support. Me and my attorney had been asking him to release my phone number. And the day after he was ordered to pay a significant amount of child support that he took himself to court for, it
didn't go quite the way he expected.
I don't know, his attorney, I don't know what his attorney was telling him, oh no, we're going to get out of this. Anyway, he shut my phone off. Thank goodness I was with, friends who I was, in a safe place. However, if I had not been, that's a safety issue at this point in day and age. And my attorney said so as well. And it's hey, we're going to tell the judge what your client just did. It was all retaliation. I cannot believe I'm being ordered to pay, $1,000 a month. I'm going to turn your phone off. So anyway, I finally got my cell number released at that point. And we got it, taken care of because he did not want to, his attorney was no, we're not going to the judge for this. And he visited his son the following month. My son at that point was 10 months old. That was pretty scary, visit. It was a very short visit. I find out a few months later that he brought, this was the other thing. So not even a few weeks after, we got, locked out of our house, he has a live-in girlfriend who is selling whatever I couldn't sell on Facebook. And they hightail it from this area about almost 1,500 miles away. And they completely went to a very different part of the country.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that, that was,
now how about custody? Who got custody of your son?
So I had primary custody. It was, on paper it was joint custody.
Because he wasn't even living in state anymore.
He wasn't living in state.
Although he still held that house under his name, so he could have said that he did.
Yeah, and we were in a different state at that time as well, because we had temporary housing provided for us, just trying to get my bearings. So he got weekend visitation for a few hours, a day, and then we didn't see him for another year and a half. We continued to kind of litigate. We came into a stipulation October of 2019, and the child, would live with me, basically sole custody other than, joint legal. And he would see the child. And this is what he agreed to. It was very little child support. He cared about the money. I cared about my child. And so he agreed to 1 weekend a month, no more than 3 hours a day, over a 4-day period. The first day was like 90 minutes. So 12 hours of visitation over a 4-day period. He still didn't use it. And still didn't pay any of his court-ordered child support. He was in real estate. There was a bunch of states coming after him for garnishment. They served him. He was speaking at a high-end real estate conference, and child support enforcement served him papers to support child support. And I never recommend anyone to go that path, because what happened next is he filed for sole custody. He did not want to pay me, because one of the things he would tell me when we were still living together, I'm going to make sure you don't get a penny from me. He was so obsessed with—
That's one of my pet peeves, sister. One of my pet peeves, that they get away with this court ordered support, whether it's alimony or whether it's child support or a combination of both. And then they don't follow through. There's no frickin' follow through. So all they have to do is go, yeah, good luck collecting. I hate that. Why? Same with what do you call it? Small claims court. You can get a judgment in your favor, and then good luck collecting. There's no enforcement. There's no way you can make them comply with a court order.
Yeah, I mean, I can work out. Yeah, it can work out, in your favor sometimes too. So, I started my own business so I could, again, being the entrepreneur, I wanted to raise my son at home. I was like, the government is not in charge of, raising my son. I am. And started a bakery out of my home, and was able to, provide for us a little bit and raise my son as a stay-at-home single mom, all on my own. I'm very proud of myself for doing that.
Yeah, that's cool. What were you baking, by the way?
I was baking very luxury baked goods, gluten-free, vegan, organic. I invented a cookie, and there's nothing else on the market like it. It'll be in Whole Foods one of these days.
The cookie of hope.
Cookie of hope. Yeah, for sure. And so, I really stumbled upon a niche market that I didn't even realize. And it was my saving grace, literally financially. And so built that business up, had it in 2 locations very rapidly. I mean, I literally built it off of $1 and just kept, investing in it, of made a little money, put it back into the companies, enough to support us.
You're a vegan Mrs. Fields, for heaven's sake. Good job.
I'm not. Well, I'm not vegan, but I made these baked goods that really served a market.
Or gluten-free, you said it.
Well, gluten-free and vegan, and they were nut-free, allergy-friendly, and there was a lot of people. There's a need for it, and I'm a really good baker. I've baked all my life, and so I know how to do that, and that's what I did. And the most important part was raising my son. I wanted to be with him 24/7. And it was hard. We had some late nights, and he precious boy, and raised him with, my values and everything that I stand for, and was, very thankful I could do that. And then he took me back to court for sole custody. He filed ex parte, getting sole custody for, just all kinds of crazy things.
How is that even possible, when you obviously have proof on the days that he was supposed to have visitation privileges, he didn't even show up? I'm sure that came up, right?
Well, that's the thing with family court, is when you have a lot of money and power and control, you can buy your child, and you can buy a really good attorney to file whatever the F they want, and the judge will just sign it. So what abusers do, particularly fathers, is that they file these ex parte, which is against your constitutional rights. And they file these ex parte, which is behind your back, meaning that I have no knowledge of it. The paper's already signed and you're supposed to obey this court order. And it's stripping you of custody, of your constitutional God-given right to raise this child like, 50-50, or, in my case, it was sole. And they could say whatever they want on ex parte. There's no evidence, there's no hearing, there's no witnesses. And the judge will just say, oh, yep, sign it. It is happening all the time. It happened to me 3 times, ex parte. Where he just gets custody because he can pay an attorney to write documents and the judge just signs them. No proof of anything. It's outrageous what is happening in our
That's
country.
not even, I mean, that's in the judge's chambers, isn't it? Or relaxing poolside, whatever that judge is doing. That's not even in a courtroom setting, is it?
Correct.
Just no
Exactly.
paperwork.
It's behind your back. You have it's so ex parte should be reserved for emergencies, like, the child is on the street and the mother's drugged out. The child on the street and the father is, waving a gun and he's drunk and there's drugs. That is not happening in family court with these ex partes. It's literally an abusive father who hates the mother so much. He doesn't want to pay child support. Because the mother and the child is a possession. It's a weapon. We're going to weaponize that child to the mother because the mother is a protective mom. And so this is really what I would want listeners to realize, is that mothers are different than fathers biologically, because mothers carry the cells.
I think all this audience knows that. We have no confusion there.
Yeah. But I mean, fathers don't carry the cells of their children. Mothers do, because mothers grow human life. The father only contributes sperm and then their job is done.
The DNA.
It's cell. It's literally biological. Like, the cells live in the mother. So that's why, like, when we get into the meat of my story, that's why I always say, like my leg is missing. You cut my arm off and I don't know where my arm is. So even if the child is stillborn, if the child, dies later on, if it's a miscarriage, those cells, DNA biologically, live in the mother. And so when you remove the child from the mother, it causes such a deep.
Oh yeah, which is what I referred to earlier when you talked about having a miscarriage of your first child.
It's horrific. So even a living child, when you rip that, so what society is trying to do, and we can get into more nuanced stuff, but they are attempting to break that biological bond between mother and child, because you know what happens? Then you set the cycle up for abuse to keep on recurring. Because when children are coming out of an abusive situation, especially when it's intentionally caused, you set that cycle up for juvenile detention, for more disruptive men in the world who hate women. And so this is all by design. The system is designed to really break this bond between primarily mothers and children, because and it can never be broken, but it's so fractured that it's frayed. It can never be repaired the way it was, and we have a massive crisis.
No. And it can't end the child either. I mean, if it weren't for the Lord, I would either be incarcerated or dead. Seriously, the Lord rescued me. That was my hope rising right there, was the Lord rescued me when I was 31. But it has affected every single one of my relationships throughout my entire life, in negative ways, and only the Lord can heal that if you give it to Him. I'm quite convinced. Not drugs, not counseling, not help groups. Only the Lord. But so I implore anyone who's going through similar situations to turn to the Lord. But you're now at a point where you're going into a custody battle. They're swapping paperwork back and forth, deciding the future of your son. You don't even know what's going on. Your attorney is probably not even in the loop either, if you even had one at that point. I don't know. What happened?
Yeah, so I did not have an attorney. So I can't get into all of that. We would be here for hours if I'm trying to I need to parse down because really what happened in the next couple of years is really the crux of my story. Okay. so that was 2020. This is right when the whole COVID thing was going on top of it. So not only were these legal documents happening on the top of it, I was also standing up to COVID and that whole, tyranny situation. I was a mama bear on every single front. I had my own business that I was trying to grow while being a full-time single mom with no support, no help. It's not like I had family next door to go watch him.
Exactly.
I mean, I had it all on my shoulders, and I still can't believe I've lived through what I've lived through. And so that's really why I like to share my story, because what I've come through is remarkable. And I'm owning that, because it truly was the stuff I have gone through. So I was able to keep my son safe again, found another attorney to help. She came on, and, we kept me and my son safe at that point. And then, so that was the middle of 2020. And he finally saw my son for the first time in September of 2020. The previous time was February 2019. So, he started seeing my son monthly on those weekend visits. And fast forward, we had a 3-day trial in August of 2021. I was on my own, and I was up against a 30-year trial attorney, and I impeached her client twice, which I was very, very proud of.
What do you mean?
He lied under oath. He lied under oath.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah. So I don't have a law degree, and I was able to prove that he was lying twice, and the judge was like, "Yep, impeached." So I put that on my self-resume, I guess.
Now, when you say impeach, see, I've never even heard that applied in courts. Does that mean just that testimony is impeached from the record, or pulled from the record, stricken from the record, or is he going to have to pay any kind of penalties for lying under oath?
Nothing. Slap him. Nothing. It was just more of it was just technical, because it's family court.
Okay, great.
But so they apply rules to different people. If it was someone else, or if it's a party they don't like, then, it's all very, it's all very personal. Like, this person will fine, this person will do this. Oh, but this person, he just lied in family court. It's okay. And they were pretty egregious lies too. It was, yeah. So this was the first trial in person since COVID. Very interesting. And a few weeks later, the magistrate came to us via Zoom and said, the recording equipment malfunctioned at the trial. And I had been calling out. I knew enough about law, because I knew what they were doing was not correct. And they were not following constitutional provisions. And the recording equipment malfunctioned. Very interesting. And at that point, I was
there isn't always somebody there, just like I see in all the TV shows about crime dramas and so on in courts. A transcriber. There isn't somebody there.
Transcriber was not there. Nope.
They just record it and do it later then?
Who knows? Every little, it's a,
Exactly. Kind of my point. Who knows? I thought that there was always somebody sitting there doing that little shorthand thing.
There was not a person doing that. There was a court clerk taking notes and filing things, but there was no transcriber.
Ah, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So at that point, I consulted a couple of people, and I'm like, what do I do if I need to appeal this? I can't appeal it because there's no record. It would be a moot point. Again, he was going for sole custody. So I needed to have some proof or record. And then I'm like, well, if I, deny it, then where are we at? And so his attorney immediately pushed, we need new temporary orders. We need new temporary orders. I was like, we have a standing order for 2 years in good effect. What is the point? So ultimately it was ruled a mistrial, and things got really complicated from there very fast, unfortunately. I filed a federal lawsuit against the judges and the court clerks under,
That's my girl. Awesome. That's awesome.
I still can't believe I did it. I did it all on my own. It was extreme. It was a lot of work. Again, I'm litigating not only a federal case, I'm litigating a civil case. I'm a full-time single mom.
And keeping your business going.
Keeping my business going, keeping a 3.5-year-old alive and happy. And, true testament to my faith at that point. And filed a federal lawsuit, and that's when the gloves came off on the other side. They did not like that I knew what was happening. It was wrong. I was calling them out on it. So the first two judges on the case then recused themselves. A third judge got on the case. We had a hearing February 9th of 2022. He's totally new to the case. Did not know anything. I argued for a good hour about jurisdiction, and he said, okay, jurisdiction is going to be under advisement. And technically, when something is under advisement, that means you need to make sure that you have jurisdiction. Like, everything kind of stays. Like, you can't like pass go. You can't collect your 200 and just keep going on. Well, that's not what happened. The following week, a visit was supposed to happen, February 17th. And I had two witnesses, and I said, my son...
Of what do you mean, a visit?
The father was coming into town to visit his son.
Got it.
And so I texted two witnesses that were going to show up at the visit exchange location because I knew stuff was going to happen. And sure enough, it did. And I said, hey, we're running late. My son is still sleeping. Let the father know. We'll be there. And what do you know he did? He threw a temper tantrum. He threw a fit. There's a police report. And he filed ex parte that day for sole legal and physical custody, removing my son from me. Again, no evidence, no witnesses, no hearing, no nothing, just allegedly that I didn't show up to a visit. How can a parent lose custody alleging someone didn't show up for a visit when jurisdiction was under advisement? I mean, it still blows my mind 3.5 years later. And so they signed this behind my back. They signed this behind my back. Again, my son has lived with me his entire life, almost 4 years exclusively. Does not know his father.
This is kind of the question that I've had in my back of my mind about all these visitations, 3 hours a day for 4 days, over a 4-day period. They were unsupervised?
Yes.
Because the family courts certainly know that something that's very prevalent is abduction. Child abduction, especially if he's living in another state. He takes your son across state lines, and now they suddenly don't have jurisdiction, and nobody seems to know what to do, and they can't force him to come back, and on and on and on. This is very, very common. So I absolutely understand why you would have misgivings that he hasn't even seen his own kid in over 2 years. Now suddenly he wants to. That's suspicious. Okay. You've all these different opportunities you had to visit your son. You didn't even show up. And now suddenly you've decided it's a whole new, everything's better now. Everything's different. That's crazy. So no, there's no way they could take away sole custody of a parent based on missing one visitation like that. In my mind, am I wrong?
Well, they did. The magistrate knew. He was on the case a week. There was no imminent danger to the child. I mean, none. There was there was no witnesses. They literally signed this order behind my back. I read it the following day and it was like, you've got to be kidding me. And I did what any mom on bear would do. I got us to safety once again. I'm like, how many more times do we have to do this?
But now they consider you abducting that child.
Oh, they
even though you have sole custody.
Well, see, on paper, I didn't.
Oh, interesting.
Because he now on paper, he has sole custody. And so now I'm the child abductor.
Oh, it worked. He got
my own child.
Oh, good Lord.
And so the following week we had
So now you're the abductor.
Well, yeah, we'll get there in 1 second.
Okay.
So the following week, there was an ex parte hearing, and I argued very well under literally threat and duress, like you're stealing my precious child. I will try not to cry on this episode. And
this should be real. Be real.
And
You
there
don't
was
have to.
art. There was like, I mean, it was inhumane what these humans, if they are humans, did to me and my child, to a precious little boy, a child. I mean, inhumane. And during that live Zoom hearing, his attorney goes, the mother won't bend her knee, meaning, you know, I just don't take a beating. It was religious persecution.
Who said that? Who said that?
His
Mother
attorney.
won't take it. His attorney. His attorney said, interesting. Interesting choice of words. Thanks for your opinion. Now sit down.
I mean, and it like that statement on record tells you what I was up against. I would not be silenced. I was speaking out in federal court of like their crimes against humanity, against me and my child, and against for all the mothers, you know, and children across this nation. They did not like that. They wanted to silence me however they could. And so then she verbally motioned the court again to order me to return the child to CPS and law enforcement in, like, I think it was 3 days. And if I don't, they would file for default judgment. Now, this is where things become very interesting. And I can't say too much more because there's been some recent uncoverings that will undo everything. But what they did not follow this state's own statutes and own laws and own codes for what they did in this default judgment. And of course, I did not return my child. There's no way a mother would just hand over her child. And they filed a default judgment on me. Again, rubber stamped whatever the attorney sent over. There was no best interest of the child. There was no evidence. There was no hearing. There was no motion. There was no motion. There was no hearing for default judgment. They literally rammed this through in less than 12 days, stripping me of all my custody. And so they had a final order at that point, just like that. I was ordered to pay him child support, even though I was actually on benefits from the state at that time. I mean, just insane. And I kept my son safe for almost 2 months. And we moved safe houses, and that safe house was a front. They turned me into law enforcement, and my child was ripped out at gunpoint. The last words I heard, my 4-year-old son, he just turned 4, give me my mama back. I want my mom back. And did not see him again or even know where he was for 2.5 years. I was hauled off to jail for custodial interference, somehow kidnapping my own child who I birthed and grew and nourished and lovingly raised. Like, I mean, it's still hard to talk about.
I'll bet. I can only imagine.
And yeah, that was 2022. Eventually I made a plea deal and tried to, contact my son and, figure out where he was. Took 2.5 years to do that. And so I'm still involved in court to this day. The criminal side is done at this point, and I am now working on legal action for what happened on this default judgment from the state. They did not follow any of their constitutional or even state laws for even proper due process. So there will be a part 2 of this episode. I'm not sure when it will air because the story is still unfolding, but there will be justice in this case. This is so grievous. You have to have a hearing to basically strip someone of their basic parental God-given human rights. And it literally was rubber stamped. Whatever the attorney sent over, again, there was no motion for it. There should have been a motion. There should have been a hearing. They literally just bypassed all of that. I mean, it's not even like, so I will be vindicated at some point. And I stand in my truth. I did what any good mother would do. I'm not going to turn over my child because I didn't do anything wrong. This is my God-given right. I have a right to raise him. He has a right to see him. Yes, we're not going to steal children. And so what I say is family court is trafficking. My child was trafficked for money. I was trafficked in the legal definition of that sense. And so, yeah, I lost everything. I lost my car. I lost my driver's license. I lost my business. I lost my home to protect my child. And it's been 3.5 years. And that's when, Hope Rose, came to me a couple weeks before this went down in February of 2022. And I have been, stewarding my story to the best of my ability, to shed light on this family court issue. It is an epidemic. If we want to talk about a pandemic, this is the pandemic. And it was all in, like, why would a mother go to great lengths just to like not have her son see his father? No, it was safety. My son is being abused to this day. And again, no one cares. I'm being abused from, I don't live in that identity, but all the coercive control and the continued manipulation and the power and all that stuff is the abuse continues. And so this is his way of torturing his victims. His previous wife.
It's not only his way, but it's the family court's way of torturing anyone who dares to say, this is not right, the way you're doing this. Something's very, very wrong here. How dare you call that out? How dare you point that out? So you have a whole wall of creepy people all trying to punish you because you wouldn't take a knee.
I wouldn't bend my knee, Charlie.
You wouldn't bend your knee. That was it. You wouldn't bend your knee. Creepy as hell.
It's beyond creepy. I can't believe I've lived through this and I'm still living through it. And that's why I speak out as much as I can, because my voice will not be silenced. And this is all documented. If anything should happen to me, it is on record, and I hope my legacy lives on, because that threat, and he's that unstable that I still always kind of watch my eye of what's happening. He is not well. It's a power and control, and he cannot let me have my child. It's my child is a possession to him.
Sole custody, but there's got to be visitation rights, or no?
Well,
they said no. Period. You don't even get to see your own child.
Well, that's the other thing that was wrong with this default judgment. How the attorney wrote it, which is why the whole thing will be void, is visitation as the parties agree.
So he'll never agree.
Correct.
What kind of judge would let that go by?
Well, it's going to be rectified. And
a dirty, vindictive judge is what would let that go by.
He didn't even read it. I'm sure. My gut feeling is that he got a lot of money under closed doors. He was paid off. He was only on the case. He was on the case 2 weeks. Like, how is that? Discretionary. It was so egregious. So things are in works to rectify that situation. But yeah, of course, as you pointed out, yeah, he's never going to agree, and he didn't. And so,
So you have not seen your son in over 2 years? Did I hear that right?
I did not see my son in 2.5 years. And then in October, after I continued the court battle in a different state, jumped through every single hoop you can possibly imagine, I did get to see my son for the first time on video, October of 2024.
On video.
And then I did get to see him in person. It was a supervised visit I had to pay for. I saw him in person one time.
Now it has to be a supervised visit. Interesting.
For me. No, me. Yeah. I'm supervised.
Exactly.
Yeah. And the last time I saw my son in person was November of 2024. And I see him typically on video just for a couple of minutes once a week. And
are they still about 1,500 miles away from you?
Yes.
Okay. This makes me sick and sad, and I wish I could say it was uncommon. But the more I'm learning, the more this seems to be the way of the world now when it comes to family courts and child protective services and so on and so forth. It's all so sickening, so wrong, so bad, so corrupt, so government run, as anything that is, for the most part, is going to be not done well. So I don't want you to say what state you're in, but I'm very curious because I'd love to know, because every state laws have different restrictions and so on, and freedoms granted. But
people think we live in a free America. We do not. And when you end up in family court, you're not a free person at
you
all.
Find out. Yep.
Yeah. And really,
and they do it all under the guise of, well, it's what's best for the child. They don't freaking care. Trust me.
It's all about money.
I got stories on
it's
that
money.
too.
Yeah. it has nothing to do with the best interest of the child. It's whoever has the most money, whoever is having coffee and, golf club dates. And it's
There it
really to
is.
keep the controversy going. When they keep
Yeah.
the controversy going, the cash flows.
Yeah.
And
Interesting.
so, I have been in court now. I'm entering year 8 of continuous litigation. And so, yeah, I've been diagnosed very heavily with CPTSD and anxiety. And, I live with it and I still function to the best of my ability. And it's real, I am being asked to go to war every single day and to show up for my son and keep that hope alive that there will be justice at some point. And even the larger mission coming through me like this, sure, I have been chosen to live this story, and I'm going to, steward it to the best of my ability and shed light on what is happening. We are going to eradicate family court. Like that is my mission. Eradicate it.
I like that mission. That is a good mission.
Yeah, abolish family
There
court.
needs to be some serious people need to be called on the carpet for. They need to be forced to bend the knee.
Yeah, I mean, anyone that can rip out a loving child from his, a boy from his loving mother. I mean,
no consequences. They think
like,
they're
and
so
now
arrogant. They're so arrogant. They're so haughty. No consequences. They do what they want.
It's so inhumane. I like, karma or justice. I don't know what, whatever you believe in. Like, you have to almost believe in something because it's so horrendous that you just are like, well, I guess justice will somehow serve them someday. I'm not sure how, but man, I like you wish for that because we are damaging our next generation.
Oh yeah.
When we are just ripping children out because somebody didn't follow a piece of paper in bogus, you didn't even follow the statutes to begin with. Like the amount, the amount of trauma, intentional trauma. This is not even like just, blindsided. Like we're going to intentionally traumatize a mother and child and their genealogy for life. And it's happening everywhere.
Right.
It is absolutely horrific.
Right.
And so I want to, speak up, I don't mind speaking up. So there's a lot of mothers, that are, and there's a lot of mothers aren't, because it's the more you speak up, the more you're a target. And that's, that's why I kind of go by Hope Rose.
And many of them just get beaten down. They just get so tired. And it's like, I can't even fight anymore. Okay, whatever. This sucks. I have my child taken away from me. I don't know what to do with this. I mean, think about this feeling of despair and loneliness and hopelessness.
I mean, I live it every single day, like I can't really look at pictures of my son and meet it, like when he was with me, like like he was such a happy boy, just happy, raised very holistically with God honoring principles, mind, body, spirit. And, he's a very different child, and it's very difficult to see that. And I hold on to the hope, that, yeah, God will do something miraculous with this story because it really needs to. Like,
do you have a way that people can get a hold of you, or do you want to? I mean, if you want to,
yeah.
This would be a good time to share that information, contact information, website, whatever.
Yeah. So website is hoperosespeaks.com. And they can find me on there, and there's different ways to support. I do coaching is one of the things. I also have a new startup called Heal Thy. And yeah, Instagram is Hope Rose Speaks. I have my own podcast. It's just a solo podcast, but it's A Transformed Life. And I do, weekly episodes on that. And yeah, there's definitely ways to support, my work and my mission going forward. It's, health, healing, and hope for people and planet.
Fantastic. It was a pleasure meeting you, and I do hope you come back and give us a happy ending.
For sure. Thank you, Charlie.
Good. All right. Talk to you soon. That may have brought back some painful memories for you. Maybe you went through that. Maybe you've recently gone through that. Maybe you're going through it. It's a good opportunity for you to reach out to somebody who has and is as well. We have to lift each other up. these kind of times. We need to lift each other up. And on a spiritual side of things, God promises us good things for those who love him and are called according to his purpose. So get called according to his purpose by aligning yourself with him through his son, Christ Jesus. I pray that you will do that. He promises us a peace beyond all understanding. That's how I have survived so many things that I've gone through in trials and tribulations, a peace beyond all understanding. Whereas the Apostle Paul wrote, I've learned to be content in all things. I've known great wealth. I've known great poverty. I've known health. I've known sickness. I've known everything, both sides of it. And I've learned to be content in all things. That used to puzzle me, that scripture. I thought, how do you, because I've gone through some tough times, but I've also had tremendous success. I've been a millionaire in my life. I've lost everything in 2008 after the real estate crash where I had put all my money. And I got stories. But my show is always about other people's stories. If you want to know about me, or you want to get in contact with me and know more about what I do, or more about Christ Jesus, even better, write me and contact me through my website, charliesimons.com, CharlieSimons.com. May God bless you and keep you. Merry Christmas, by the way. May God bless America, but most importantly, America bless God